लाइव कितने हैं, कोई वेटिंग है? Hello everyone. Hi guys. Hi everyone. How are you? Everyone doing well? So we are back here with the syllabus wrap-up series, key points from NCERT, biological classification. That is your unit 1, lesson number 2. So are you all ready for the amazing series launched by Career Point? And before starting the session, I always advise you to download the eCareerPoint app, as you are going to get all the PDFs over there. So are you all ready for the session? I want very high energy in all of the students. Okay, so we are going to start our session, and before starting, of course bache, you have to download the eCareerPoint app. Why? Because bache, it's the best app first of all, and also you are going to get all the PDFs of the session in this beautiful app. Okay, hi Vinayak, hi Anthony, hi everyone. Good afternoon to each and every student present in my class. Okay, all of you. So of course bache, and also after downloading the eCareerPoint app from the Google Play Store. Okay, hi Krishna Ma'am is also here. Welcome ma'am, thank you so much. Okay bache, hi and good evening bache, good evening everyone. So you have to like the session, share the session, and of course bache, if you have any doubt, any query, you can anytime comment on the section. Also you can write your queries and anything in the comment section. We will definitely reply you as soon as possible. Okay bache, next, so please like, share, please subscribe the channel. It's very beautiful channel. You are going to get all the superb benefits on this channel. You are going to get a syllabus wrap-up series, as the NEET is coming and it's on your way. So you are going to get a beautiful revision. Okay, so today we are going to start a very beautiful topic that is called as biological classification. This topic belongs to your NCERT, class 11th NCERT, the unit 1, chapter number 2. Okay, so in this we are going to study kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom fungi, kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia, viruses, viroids and prions. Okay, so these are the topics which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Okay, of course bache, kingdom plantae and kingdom animalia, we have a separate chapter, that is your plant kingdom and animal kingdom. So in this chapter we are going to discuss in detail the 3 important kingdom which was given by the 5 kingdom classification which was given by R.H. Whittaker. So out of that we are going to study here kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom fungi in detail, and we have a separate topic, separate chapter for plant kingdom and animal kingdom. Okay, yes, so are you all ready? Okay, superb bache. So now we are going to move on to the, first of all we are going to study about the classification, the system of classification, and then we are going to jump on to the kingdom Monera. Everyone ready? Okay, very good, amazing students. So what all we have on the system of classification? So this is a small flow chart. Everything is combined in the simple and sweet flow chart. It's a very beautiful flow chart. That means it is very helpful in quick revision. Okay, so it will be very helpful bache for your quick revision. The first one is saying, the flowchart is saying, the first one is your 2 kingdom classification. The 2 kingdom classification bache, it included the kingdom plantae and kingdom animalia. Okay, it included the kingdom plantae and kingdom animalia, and of course bache, the 2 kingdom classification was given by Linnaeus. Okay, don't forget the very important scientist of the biology, that is Linnaeus. Clear everyone? Okay bache, so now bache, it was not approved. Why it was not approved bache? Because fungi, okay, fungi were kept with the plant, and you all know that plant being the autotrophic and fungi being the heterotrophic, they cannot be kept together. Okay, so you might be knowing this. Okay, so now not approved as fungi, organisms like Euglena and Chlamydomonas etc. were not justified in these 2 kingdoms. Okay, because plant are the autotrophs while fungi are the heterotrophs, so they cannot be kept together at any cost. Okay, and then there was kingdom plantae. Then we move on to the 3 kingdom classification which was proposed by Haeckel. Okay, now he classified he gave the 3 kingdom classification, that is your Plantae, okay, that is your plant, Animalia, and he gave a new kingdom that is called as kingdom Protista. And kingdom Protista included all the bacteria. Okay? Yes. Okay, bache. Okay, beta, it's a revision series, so you have to little bit, you have to be little bit fast. Unless and until if you are not fast, then the revision will not be completed. Okay, this is not a, year-long batch so that I can teach one by one. It's a revision series, so you have to be little quick and little fast because it will help you. It will be benefiting for you. Okay, everyone? Yes, Vinayak? Got it, bache? Okay, bache. So, three-kingdom classification was proposed by Haeckel. Clear, everyone? So, we have kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia, and the new kingdom which was proposed by Haeckel was kingdom Protista. And kingdom Protista included all the unicellular organisms. Okay, but again, this was also rejected. Okay, bache? Yes. Okay, bache. Okay, Vinayak. Then we have the four kingdom classification which is given by Copeland. The four kingdom classification which was given by a very beautiful scientist that is named as Copeland. And he introduced one more kingdom, that is your kingdom Monera. Okay, so in kingdom Monera there was Protista for unicellular organisms, Monera for bacteria, of course, bache, there is a printing mistake over here. Then we have kingdom Plantae and Animalia. Okay, so in Monera, what we kept? We kept the bacteria. What do we kept here? We kept the bacteria over here. Clear, everyone? Yes. So next up we have the five kingdom classification. Again, this was also rejected, not accepted. But then we came on to the very beautiful, the five kingdom classification that was given by the R.H. Whittaker. Okay, and he introduced a very beautiful, five kingdom classification. What were the kingdom? What were we naming them? First is your Monera, then is your Protista, then is your fungi, then is your Plantae, and the last one but not the least is your Animalia. Okay, so five kingdom classification included kingdom. Again, repeat with me, repeat again and again, repeat and learn with me. The first one was Monera, the next one was Protista, the third one was your fungi, the fourth one was your Plantae, and the fifth one was your Animalia. Okay, and the kingdoms which he introduced, which he proposed, basically they were according to the phylogenetic relationship. What is the phylogenetic relationship? When we classify the organism on the basis of the evolutionary characteristics and the ancestral characteristics, that is called as the phylogenetic classification. Okay, so it's a beautiful classification and the most accepted classification of the five kingdom, that is the five kingdom classification proposed by the R.H. Whittaker. Okay, and then we have the Monera, you all know that. We have the Protista, okay, we have the fungi, we have the Plantae, and we have the Animalia. Okay, yes. Hi Priya Darshini, hi bache, hi everyone. Okay bache, so now Monera included all the bacteria. All the bacteria are included in the kingdom Monera. Okay, so in kingdom Monera we include all the bacteria, and you know bache, bacteria are mostly unicellular as well as they are the prokaryotic organism. Prokaryotic organism means they do not have the well developed cellular organelles. Not only that, they do not have a well developed nucleus. They have a nucleoid in their cytoplasm. Clear, everyone? So the bacteria is unicellular as well as prokaryotic organism. Am I clear to each and every one of you? Next up we have the Protista. Protista is again unicellular, but it is eukaryotic. That means it has a well-developed nucleus and it has well-developed cell organelles. It has all the cell organelles. Okay, so in this we have the Protista, which is the unicellular eukaryotes. Next up we have fungi. Fungi is the first member which is eukaryotic as well as multicellular. But here we are going to see one exception which is called as yeast, which is the unicellular fungi. Very important, the question will come from here 100%, that the fungi, you all know that fungi are eukaryotic multicellular organism. But the exception here is yeast, which is unicellular, but yes, of course, it is eukaryotic. Clear? So the exception is it is eukaryotic as well as bache, it is multicellular. But the exception you are going to tell me, it is the yeast. Am I clear till here? Tell me fast. Then we are going to move towards the kingdom plantae. Kingdom plantae is 100% autotrophic. Okay, that means it can prepare its own food. Yes, of course. And of course, bache, it is eukaryotic multicellular. Clear? And further, bache, kingdom plantae is divided into algae, fungi, algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperm. Okay, so this is the classification of kingdom plantae. The first one is what? The first one is algae. The next one is what? It is the bryophyte. The third one is your pteridophyte. The fourth one is your gymnosperm, and the fifth one is your angiosperm, which are the flowering plants. Am I clear? Next up, we have the kingdom Animalia, which is basically most of the animals are heterotrophic in nature. Am I clear with this? Are you all clear with this beautiful flowchart? I want thumbs up in the comment section from each and everyone who are watching this session. Please like the session, share the session, subscribe the channel. It's very beautiful. Okay, it's a very beautiful channel. It is specifically only for the students who are basically, you do not get the Hindi, Hindi language, and it is specifically in English we are teaching you. Okay, this channel is made specially for the English medium students. As well as, bache, the Hindi medium students can also watch this, this session, but of course they should know the English. Clear, everyone? Okay, very good. Next up, we have the 5 kingdom classification. So, bache, what were the basis of 5 kingdom classification? The 5 kingdom classification, bache, it was based on the cellular structure. Okay, that means the type of cell and cell wall. It was based on the cellular structure. It was based on the thallus organization, the complexity of the organism, how much the organism is complex. Clear, everyone? Next up, we have the mode of nutrition, whether it is autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophic is the one which can prepare its own food. Heterotrophic is the one which feeds on the other organism for the food. Next up, we have the reproduction, whether it is showing asexual mode of reproduction or the sexual mode of reproduction. Clear? And last but not the least, we have the phylogenetic relationship, that is your evolutionary relationship. That is your evolutionary relationship. Am I clear? Am I clear to each and every one of you? Any doubt, you can just write it in your comment section. I will address the doubt. Till now, everything clear, bache? Okay. Next up we have a beautiful picture over here, that is Monera, Protista, Plantae, Fungi, Animalia. Clear, all of you? Next. So now this beautiful flow chart is given in your NCERT, and 100% the question comes from here. It is your NCERT flow chart. Very important. So here we have Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. So first we are going to deal that the cell type. How is the cell type, bache? The cell type is prokaryotic or eukaryotic. So you all know the Monera belongs to prokaryotic, otherwise all other organism belongs to eukaryotic. That means fungi, Protista, fungi, Plantae, Animalia, they all are eukaryotic, but only the Monera is prokaryotic. Okay, then we come on to the cell wall. The bacterial cell wall is composed of the what? The peptidoglycan, the polysaccharide plus acid. Yes, the bacterial cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Yes, bache, that is, you can call it as polysaccharide plus amino acid. Then, bache, Protista, some has the cell wall, some do not have the cell wall. Next, bache, fungi, present without the cellulose. That means the cell wall is made up of chitin. The cell wall is made up of chitin, which is called as the fungal cellulose. You know the biomolecules chapter, class 11th. Okay. So, bache, chitin is called as the fungal cellulose. Next up, we have the Plantae. Here the cell wall is present and it is made up of the cellulose. Okay. Last but not the least, we have Animalia, and you all know that in animal cell, the cell wall is absent. Am I clear? Yes, bache, am I clear? Next up, we have the nuclear membrane, that whether the nuclear membrane is present or not. So, you all know in prokaryotes, there will be no nuclear membrane as there is no well-developed nucleus. There is only a nucleoid or genophore which is present in the cytoplasm. So, of course, in Monera, it will be absent, while in rest 4, it will be present. Very simple. Okay, so next up we have in Monera, it is absent, and in rest 4 it is present. Now we have the body organization. What type of body organization is present here? Yes, Vinayak. Why are you sending me these smileys of confused? Any doubt? Any doubt, bache, you can ask. Instead of sending me such smileys, please you can ask your doubt anytime, Vinayak. Okay, very good. Next, bache, mode of nutrition is autotrophic. Yes, mode of nutrition is body organization, bache, first. It is cellular. It is cellular, it is multicellular loose tissue, and then it is tissue organ, and here there is well-developed organ system. Okay? Yes. Next up we have the autotrophic, that is your chemosynthetic, photosynthetic and heterotrophic. That means, bache, it can be autotrophic. In autotrophic we have 2 subpoints, that is it can be chemosynthetic or photosynthetic, or it can be heterotrophic. Clear? Okay, bache. Beta, you have to write. See, this is all from the NCERT. Just take your NCERT, stick a sticky note over there and write the extra points. These are all the things. You don't have to write it again and again in a rough copy. No, you don't have to write that. You just merely take your NCERTs, have your sticky notes with yourself and write the key points over there. Okay, there is no need to copy the whole slides. These slides are provided to you in your eCareerPoint app. Yes, I am not a new teacher, bache. I teach generally in your, CareerPoint channel, but specifically today is my first class in your English medium channel. Okay? Yes, bache. Yes, bache. I am going to come on the Archaebacteria. Wait. Okay, wait. Everything is coming in step-by-step manner. Next, bache. Next in Protista, autotrophic and heterotrophic both. Then we have fungi, that is, of course, bache, it is heterotrophic and mostly parasitic and saprotrophic. Mostly it is saprotrophic and less of parasitic. Next we have plantae, 100% bache, photosynthetic, and animalia, holozoic or saprotrophic mode of nutrition. You have to learn this, bache. This chart is very, very, very important. Okay, am I clear? Next we are going to move on to the kingdom Monera, and we are going to start with the unicellular prokaryotes. Am I clear? So in bacteria, we are going to study about the Eubacteria. Okay, we are going to study about the Eubacteria. Clear, everyone? Am I clear? Eubacteria, Archaebacteria and your Mycoplasma. Very, very important. Am I clear? Yes, and out of that, the Archaebacteria, as you all know, it is the most primitive type of bacteria. Okay? So we are going to talk some important characteristic of kingdom Monera, and then we are going to jump onto the classification. Am I clear? Okay. So next up we have the kingdom Monera. So bacteria are the sole members of the kingdom Monera. Okay. You all know that the sole members, the important members, the sole members of the kingdom Monera is what? Yes. Okay. So the bacteria are the sole members of kingdom Monera. They are the most abundant microorganisms. Okay. You all know that if I am breathing also, if I am speaking also, there are lots and lots of bacteria in the air. Okay. You might have visited a garden and you just take a handful of soil. You just take, bache, a handful of soil from the garden and you will observe that, bache, there are lots, millions and trillions of bacteria in that handful of soil. So NCERT says bacteria occurs almost everywhere. They are cosmopolitan in nature. You can find bacteria everywhere, bache. Okay, hundreds and thousands of bacteria are present in a handful of soil. So these are some points which are directly from the NCERT and generally it comes in the NEET examination. Okay, next up we have, they also live in extreme habitats. Not only they are found in normal habitats, but also some bacteria, some specific type of bacteria. Okay, for example, the Archaebacteria, they are found in extreme extreme conditions or extreme habitat. That means 100 degrees Celsius or in the acidic pH. They are called as thermophiles, acidophiles. Okay, they can survive in deep oceans, in snow, in -degree temperature. Okay, so they can survive in extreme habitats, very, very important. Not only that, but many of the bacteria, they can also live in the form of parasites. So what all points I told you? The first thing, bacteria are the sole members of kingdom Monera. Next, bache, they are the most abundant microorganism. Okay, next up we have in a handful of soil there are thousands of bacteria which can be seen, and of course bacteria are found almost everywhere, so they are cosmopolitan in nature. Are you able to get my points, everyone? Okay, next they can not only survive in natural habitats but also they can survive in extreme habitats such as thermoacidophiles or thermophiles or acidophiles. Yes bache? Yes, okay, there is no such example right now, but if any example is coming, of course I am going to demonstrate it with a trick. Okay, most of the time, I will try and give as many as trick as you want. Okay, next so now many of them can live in or other organism as parasites. So these are some points which I said, they all are written on this board. Okay, so you can read them very properly. Bacteria are the sole members. Okay, bacteria occurs almost everywhere. They live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, where very few other life forms can survive. Next, many of them live in or other organism as a parasite. They can be parasite also. They can be good bacteria also, which is present in your intestine. The colon. Yes, of course, bacteria is not always harmful. The curd you eat at your home, that is made by lactobacillus, and the curd is very, very, very nutritious. Yes or no? So not all bacteria are harmful, bache. Next, characteristics of Monera. What are the characteristics of Monera, bache? It is the unicellular prokaryote. So first of all, the reproduction. You all know that basically bacteria undergoes binary fission under favorable conditions. Let me remind you. Next up, we have the bacteria locomotion. The locomotion in bacteria is done with the help of flagella. Okay, flagella helps in the locomotion of the bacteria. The mode of nutrition, as I say, bache, it can be autotrophic, it can be heterotrophic, it can be saprotrophic. Any one of them can be possible. Yes, bache, yes, very good, Satyendra Kumar, very, very good. Okay, next, bache, example. Example is your Archaebacteria, your Eubacteria, your Cyanobacteria, your Mycoplasma, your Actinomycetes, which basically it sounds like a fungi, but it is not a fungi, it is a bacteria. But it looks like a fungi, that's why it is also called as ray fungi. But Actinomycetes, bache, it is what? It is the bacteria, not the fungi. Okay, so red alert on this Actinomycetes. I want the red alert sign here. Okay, because anyone who is basically, I am teaching to that student, so they are not going to, do this question wrong, because I always, mark a star over here, because Actinomycetes, most of them think that it is a fungi, but it is not a fungi, it is a bacteria which looks like a fungi, and it is also called as ray fungi. Am I clear? Any doubt you can ask me, bache? Okay, so we are moving further. Bache, there are various shapes of the bacteria. Okay, depending on the variation in shapes. Depending on the variations, bache, the bacteria has n number of shapes. Okay, so the 4 are represented here. Okay, the first one is coccus or cocci. The first one is what? The coccus or the cocci, and as the word indicates, it is round shaped bacteria. Okay, it is round shaped or sphere shaped bacteria. So spherical in shape, it is smallest and maximum resistant bacteria. It is maximum resistant to the abiotic stress. For example, Diplococcus pneumoniae. Next up we have the bacillus or the bacilli. This is basically the rod shaped bacteria is called as bacilli. For example, E. coli, Escherichia coli is the answer. Next up we have the the spirillum, which is spiral shaped. As the name indicates, bache, it is spiral in shaped. Okay, you can see here, and it has a bunch, a tuft of flagella at its ends. Okay, for example, Spirillum volutens. For example, bache, what? Spirillum volutens. Next up we have the comma or the vibrio. The comma or the vibrio, bache, it is comma shaped. Okay, for example, Vibrio cholerae. For example, what? For example, Vibrio cholerae. So you just have to remember the example and the shape of the bacteria, nothing else, not more than that. Everyone clear? I think so everyone is clear now. Yes, so we are moving towards the next slide, that is your Archaebacteria. Okay, so now Archaebacteria, bache, are the group of bacteria which is basically the oldest type of bacteria. Clear, everyone? And it is found in the very, very, very harsh habitat. Okay, it is simple and most primitive type. What it is, bache? It is very simple and it is the most primitive type. And yes, of course, bache, its cell wall, the composition of the Archaebacteria, the cell wall composition is very different than the normal bacteria. The normal bacteria cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, but the cell wall of, the cell wall of Archaebacteria, it is made up of pseudomurine. Okay, Satyendra, you were asking me that it was made up of pseudomurine, and that's why it can survive in uttermost extreme condition. That means highly acidic condition or high temperature or very minus cold temperature. It can survive in any of them. It can basically, some bacteria of some type of Archaebacteria are salt loving and they are called as halophiles. Okay, not only that, bache, they are also found in the gut of the ruminant animals. They are called as methanogens. Clear, everyone? You understood? Okay, so this is all about the Archaebacteria. Simplest and the most primitive type of group of bacteria. Cell wall is made up of polysaccharide and proteins. Okay, that is peptidoglycans and muramic acid are absent in the cell wall. Although polysaccharides are present, but the peptidoglycan is absent, and instead of peptidoglycan, what is present, bache? Pseudomurine is present over there. And next, bache, Archaebacteria differs from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, and this feature is responsible for their survival in the extreme conditions. So their cell wall contains what? Their cell wall contains pseudomurine. Their cell wall contains, bache, what? Their cell wall contains pseudomurine. Archaebacteria are considered to be the oldest of the living fossil. Clear, everyone? Next up we have habitat is your extreme habitat. For example, it is found in the gut of the ruminant, that is your buffalo and cows, etc. Yes, of course, and they are called as methanogens. Next up we have halophiles and thermoacidophiles. Halophiles are the salt loving bacteria. They are found in extremely salty areas. And also, bache, thermoacidophile, as the name indicates, thermo means high temperature, acido means high acidity. So it can survive high temperature as well as high acidity. So these are some important characteristics of the Archaebacteria. Okay, next up we have the Eubacteria. Everyone understood? Can we start the Eubacteria now? Yes, tell me fast. Everyone clear? Yes, everyone? Okay, so next up we have Eubacteria. It is also called as, bache, the true bacteria. Okay, the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. The cell wall is made up of, bache, it is rigid. The cell wall is rigid and it is made up of peptidoglycan. Okay, it moves with the help of flagella. It moves with the help of flagella, bache. Mode of nutrition of this is autotrophic. Eubacteria are generally autotrophic in nature. Okay, not only that, bache, the Anabaena and the nostoc are the example of Eubacteria, and you all know that in Anabaena and nostoc we have a special kind of cell present over here which is called as heterocyst, which is responsible for fixing the nitrogen. Yes, so here what are we going to found? We are going to found the example of Eubacteria can be cyanobacteria. Okay, cyanobacteria is also called as blue-green algae, and please remember, blue-green algae is not an algae, it's a bacteria. 100%, the students go wrong over here. They basically mark blue-green algae, it is a form of green algae. No, bache, very wrong. Okay, so cyanobacteria, it is also called as BGA, that is your blue-green algae, and it's a bacteria, not an algae. Please remember. Okay, it is the first oxygenic bacteria, yes, who basically perform oxygenic, it is the one who first time the oxygen was evolved from here. Clear, everyone? And next we come on to the, basically they have a beautiful cell, the nostoc and the Anabaena, bache, there we have a special kind of structure called as heterocyst, and there, bache, in the heterocyst, what do we do in the heterocyst? The nitrogen fixation takes place here. For example, nostoc and Anabaena. Am I clear? Yes, and here is a beautiful picture of a nostoc from an NCERT, and here which you can see very well, you can see the heterocyst cell which is responsible for the N2 fixation. Am I clear? Which is responsible for what? Which is responsible for the N2 fixation, that is your nitrogen fixation. Clear, Yes. Okay. Wait a minute, everyone. I don't know what's wrong with this board. Next, we have a mucilaginous sheath over here. Okay, so this is all about the Eubacteria. Next up, we have the reproduction in the respiration in Eubacteria. Then we are going to move on to the reproduction. So, respiration is again of two types. It can be aerobic, it can be anaerobic. Aerobic means in the presence of O2. Aerobic means in the presence of O2, and anaerobic means in the absence of O2. In the absence of O2. Okay. So again, it is divided into two parts: obligate anaerobes and facultative. Obligate. What do you mean by obligate? Who is going to tell me in the comment section right now? Beta, in obligate aerobic bacteria, obligate means compulsory. Without oxygen, this bacteria would not be able to survive. That is called as obligate aerobic bacteria. Next up, we have facultative aerobic bacteria. That means if the oxygen is present, it is very happy. But if it is absent, then also it will not die, it will adjust itself. That is called as facultative. Facultative means not at all compulsory, not at all mandatory. While obligate means 100% compulsory, 100% obligatory, 100% mandatory. Okay, so in obligate aerobic bacteria, what is happening? Completely aerobic and die in the absence of O2. Next, facultative, normally aerobic but can survive in the absence of O2 also. Am I clear? Yes, Satyendra, very good. Next, we have anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria, it is involving two types. Okay, again. Now, anaerobic means completely anaerobic, that is your obligatory anaerobic, and also facultative anaerobic. Okay, so please change this, it is anaerobic. Okay, now see obligatory anaerobic. Obligatory anaerobic means completely anaerobic but do not have capacity of aerobic respiration. That means it cannot survive in the presence of oxygen. It needs completely anaerobic condition. Then we have facultative. Facultative means if the oxygen is absent, then it's well and good, but it has the capacity to do the aerobic respiration as well. Okay, so this is the two type of respiration which is shown by bacteria. Am I clear? Yes or no? Everyone? Okay. Next we have nutrition. Next what we have? Next up we have the nutrition. Now nutrition you all know it can be autotrophic also. It can be heterotrophic also. If autotrophic, it can be further divided into what? It can be further divided into chemoautotroph or photoautotroph. Okay, chemoautotroph means if you all know the chemical, the light energy is converted into the chemical energy. Yes, you all know that in photosynthesis, the light energy is converted into chemical energy. So in photoautotroph, what kind of energy we are using? We are using the solar energy. But in chemoautotroph, we are not using the solar energy. We are using this energy which is basically liberated by any other organic compound. Clear everyone? So what is photoautotroph? Uses light energy. Okay, and it is doing anoxygenic photosynthesis. Okay, the first one who did the oxygenic photosynthesis was your blue-green algae. Okay, so here what is the example? Chlorobium and rhodospirillum. Okay, next up we have chemoautotroph. Chemoautotroph means the energy is obtained by the oxidation of some organic compound, as I said you earlier. Okay, so for example, Nitrobacter and Nitrosomonas. Okay, and you all know these two bacteria, Nitrobacter and Nitrosomonas, they are used in biological nitrogen fixation. Am I right? Yes, of course. Next up, we have the heterotrophic organism. The heterotrophic type of mode of nutrition. It can be divided into further two classes, that is your parasitic and saprotrophic. Okay, parasitic means it is basically completely dependent on the host for its nutrition. It is obtaining the food from the host organism and the host is always the living one. Next up what we have? Next up we have the saprotroph. Saprotroph is the one which feeds on dead and decaying organism. Yes or no? Dead and decaying or the organic matter. Then the last we have a very small point is written over here, that is your symbiotic bacteria. Symbiotic bacteria, bache, what does it do? It converts the atmospheric nitrogen. It converts the atmospheric nitrogen into amino acids and NO3. Okay, and the salts of ammonia, for example, rhizobium, which forms the association with the leguminous plant. And the example of rhizobium, you are also going to study this rhizobium in detail in your mineral nutrition chapter, and the topic is biological nitrogen fixation. Am I clear? So, the symbiotic bacteria is the one which converts the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate, okay, into salts of ammonia and into amino acids. And the example would be your rhizobium. Am I clear? Yes, of course. Okay, next up we have the reproduction in bacteria. So, bacteria will undergo reproduction, okay, binary fission. Okay, first of all, we are going to talk about the asexual reproduction. The asexual reproduction includes the binary fission, and the binary fission, it occurs in the what? It occurs in the favorable condition. When the conditions are favorable, then the bacteria will show the binary fission. So, this diagram is from the NCERT, so mark 2 stars over here. Next up we have in under unfavorable condition, under unfavorable condition, the bacteria is going to form the endospore, and endospore, it will keep the bacteria protected from the abiotic stress. And how it is keeping it protected, because the endospore, the cortex of the endospore consists of the Ca-dipicolinic acid, and it protects the bacteria from the unfavorable condition, Am I clear? Yes or no? So, what I am saying that in under favorable condition, the bacteria is going to divide by the binary fission. Okay, that a single cell divides into 2 daughter cells. Okay, that is called as simply a binary fission. So, bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Sometimes under unfavorable condition, they produce spores. And what kind of spore is that? It is your endospore. Okay. Next up we have, they also reproduce by the sort of sexual reproduction by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to another. So, they also show sexual reproduction, but the sexual reproduction is of primitive type. Next up what we have the endospore formation occurs under the basically the unfavorable condition. So, endospore is a thick walled spore, Clear everyone? Next we have, it is the highly resistant structure and reproduction without multiplication. Okay, it is also called as reproduction without multiplication. Next highly resistant due to the presence of Ca-dipicolinic in the cortex. So, we have the core, we have the cortex over here, and in cortex we have the dipicolinate, which basically protects the bacteria from the unfavorable condition. And when the favorable condition comes, the spore comes out and germinate and give rise to a new bacterium. Okay, and mostly this type of structure is seen in the bacillus type of bacteria. Am I clear? Yes, tell me, Vinayak, Satyendra, Naveen, Shilpa, everyone who all are attending my class, am I clear to each and everyone? Anyone who is not getting anything? So, this is all about the reproduction of bacteria. Next, we are going to move on to the last topic of the bacteria, that is your Mycoplasma. And you all know Mycoplasma is called as the joker of the plant kingdom because it do not have a cell wall. Okay. So, Mycoplasma, it was discovered by Nocard and Rox. It was discovered by Nocard and Rox, Yes. Okay, very good, Satyendra. Next, we have unicellular and smallest known prokaryote. Very, very important. Smallest prokaryote is Mycoplasma. Next up we have, it lacks a cell wall. As a result of it, it can change its shape. So, that's why it is called as pleomorphic. It changes its shape. So, that's why it is called as what? It is called as pleomorphic. Next, it is facultative anaerobic bacteria. Facultative anaerobic means if generally it prefers to live in the absence of oxygen, but if the oxygen is present, it can also survive in the presence of oxygen. So, that is called as facultative anaerobe. Okay, the example of Mycoplasma is PPLO, pleuropneumonia like organism. It is the example of Mycoplasma, very important. Okay, next bache, it causes disease in plants and animals. You all know that bacteria are sometimes harmful also, sometimes useful also, but these type of bacteria bache, it causes disease in plant and animals, and it is called as joker of the plant kingdom. Why bache? Because initially it was kept in the plant kingdom, but later we realized that it do not have a cell wall and it is a unicellular prokaryote, so we kept it under the, you know, the bacteria, the Monera kingdom. So that's why it is called as the joker of the plant kingdom. Am I clear? Okay, perfect. So this completes our bacteria and we are going to start the kingdom Protista. Am I all clear? Sorry, are you all clear? Yes, of course. Anything you have a doubt, anytime, you can ask me, bache. And now we are going to start kingdom Protista. Okay, so kingdom Protista, bache, what are the characteristics of kingdom Protista? Kingdom Protista is the unicellular eukaryotic organism. What is kingdom Protista, bache? Kingdom Protista is the unicellular eukaryotic organism. Okay, and what all things we are going to study here? We have a beautiful slide showing you that we are going to study here dinoflagellates, chrysophytes, euglenoids, slime molds and protozoans. Am I clear? So now, why Priyadarshini? Why do you want that I should take my class at 6:30 to 7? Beta, we have more classes scheduled after this, so as soon as we are free, we take the classes. Yes, Priyadarshini? Okay, so next up we have kingdom Protista, and you all know, you can see in a beautiful slide that kingdom Protista, in kingdom Protista, what all members are present? One is dinoflagellates, then we have chrysophytes, then we have euglenoids, slime molds, and finally we have what? We have the protozoans. Okay, so we are going to discuss them one by one. So I have categorized this. Beta, see, I have beautifully categorized this. So let's, okay, everything is coming. Yes. Hi, hello, bache. Okay, so first we are going to consider the characteristic of kingdom Protista. Okay, so bache, what are kingdom Protista? What all members are included in kingdom Protista? As I said, kingdom Protista included the unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, and of course, bache, if it is unicellular, some are multicellular also. Okay, some are multicellular also, not always unicellular. So that's why NCERT is writing a very beautiful line that the boundaries of kingdom Protista are not at all well defined. Okay, so please refer to the NCERT very, core-heartedly, because NCERT is the Bible for biology. So whatever thing is written in the NCERT, question will come directly from here. Okay, so that's why bache, protist includes unicellular, some are multicellular eukaryotic organism also. So that's why the boundaries of the Protista are not decided. Next bache, it forms a link between plant, animals and fungi. Very, very important. It forms a connecting link between the plant, animals and fungi. Next bache, habitat. It is aquatic, present in the soil or in the areas with the moisture. Okay, nutrition bache, nutrition can be holotropic, saprotrophic, parasitic and symbionts. Very easy. Next we have reproduction, mostly asexual, rarely sexual method of reproduction. Next we have few forms are non-motile, cilia, flagella and pseudopodia present. Pseudopodia, you can easily say bache, pseudopodia is basically present in your amoeba. Yes, flagella is present in your what? Euglena. Yes or no? So dinoflagellates. Yes, bache? Okay, very good, very good. Yes. So now more characteristics. What are the all next characteristics? All the single cell eukaryotes are placed under the kingdom Protista. Okay, very important line. Next bache, boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. Again, very important point, star marked. Okay, I have already told you this point. Yes, next up we have members of Protist are primarily aquatic. Okay, it forms, okay, basically what? And it forms the connecting link between plant and animals and fungi. Clear? So these all are the points which we have already discussed. Being eukaryotes, the protein cell body contains a well-defined nucleus and the other membrane-bound cell organelles. Because it is a eukaryotic organism, it will have a well-developed nucleus, it will have all the well-developed cell organelles. Am I clear? Okay, next up we have kingdom Protista is divided. I already told you how it is divided, but now we are going to categorize the Protista on the basis of their nutritional category. Okay, so the protists which are photosynthetic, I have categorized it here. The protists which are consumer or decomposer, I have categorized it here, and the protists which are protozoan, I have categorized it there. Okay, so the first one, who are the photosynthetic one, are the chrysophytes, dinoflagellates and euglenoids. Euglena, bache, euglena is a very beautiful organism. Yes, euglena is a very beautiful organism, and it is the connecting link between bache plant and animals. Why bache? Because in the presence of sunlight, euglena undergoes, it basically performs the process of photosynthesis. But again, in the absence of sunlight, bache, euglena will basically perform what? Euglena will become a heterotrophic organism. So it is basically a connecting link between plants and animals. It is a very beautiful organism. Clear? Next we have in consumer or decomposers, we have the slime moles. And last we have the protozoan, that is your amoeboid protozoans, ciliated protozoans, flagellated protozoans and sporozoans. Okay, so we are going to take them one by one. Okay, very simple. First we are going to deal with the chrysophytes, which is called as the golden alga. Okay, we are calling it an alga, but it's not an alga, it's a protist. Clear? It's a protist, it's a member of chrysophytes. Okay, so basically it includes diatoms and desmids, which is called as golden alga. It includes the diatoms and desmids. Habitat bache, habitat is usually aquatic, fresh water. Okay, habitat is usually aquatic, fresh water and marine. Clear everyone? Next bache, it is mostly microscopic and most of them are phytoplanktons. Most of them are bache phytoplanktons, and you all know phytoplanktons are photosynthetic in nature. They make the food in the oceans and in the seas. Clear? So mostly they are bache what? Aquatic, freshwater and as well as marine. Next bache, cell wall. Cell wall is indestructible, very very important. Cell wall is indestructible due to the presence of silica. The cell wall has high deposition of silica bache. Yes, it is basically having high deposition of silica, so you cannot destroy the cell wall of chrysophytes, that is your desmids and diatoms. Okay, diatoms, what it has bache? It has a soapbox like structure. How it is? See, diatoms, the cell wall makes two thin overlapping shells which fit like a soapbox on the outer surface. How it is? See bache. How is the structure? See bache, it is like this. It is like this. Okay, this is the structure of the diatom. It is looking like a soapbox, yes or no? Soapbox structure, and the cell wall has the deposition of silica. So the cell wall is indestructible. Clear? And due to this bache, when they die, their cell wall is never destroyed and they get accumulated in the lower surface of the sea, and hence they form the diatomaceous earth. Are you all clear? Are you all clear what I said bache? The diatoms, the cell wall of the diatoms is indestructible due to the silicaceous cell wall. It has silica deposition in the cell wall, and hence bache, when the diatoms die, their cell wall is very rigid, very hard. It is having silica deposition, so it never dies, so it gets accumulated in the lower surface of the sea, and hence it forms the diatomaceous earth. Am I clear? Okay, next is, it is used in polishing, it is used in filtration, oils and syrups. And also bache, diatoms are the chief producers of the ocean. Clear clear all of you? And here is the top point about the diatomaceous earth. Am I clear? Yes. Now we are moving to the next one, that is your dinoflagellates. And as the name indicates, dino means two flagellates, dinoflagellates, that means it has two flagella. Okay, dino means two, flagellates means flagella. Habitat bache, it is mostly marine and photosynthetic. I have already categorized that, of course, who is the photosynthetic one, who is the consumer, and who is a protozoan. Okay, so dinoflagellates bache, they are also photosynthetic in nature, and they appear, as you can see bache, they appear yellowish, green, brown in color. Okay, and also bache, they can be red. Yes. Okay. It's okay bache, it's a revision bache, it's a revision, it's not a, you guys are not understanding bache, it's a revision series, and in the revision series we have to revise the whole chapter. Yes. So you can type your doubt, I will address it bache, I will just rewind the PPT and I will just adjust it. Clear? It's a revision series bache, so you have to be a little bit faster. Okay, you cannot be slow in revision. You already have studied this. Ma'am have taught you in a beautiful way. Krishna ma'am. Yes. So now we have to move a little bit faster. Yes or no? Okay. Because why do we do revision? Revision should be fast. Fast as possible. Clear everyone? Okay. So habitat bache. Habitat we are going to move that it is mostly marine and photosynthetic. Then bache it appears yellow, green, brown, blue and red based on the main pigments of the cell. Clear everyone? Okay, cell wall. Cell wall has a stiff cellulose plate on the outer surface. So the cell wall is made up of bache cellulosic layer. Okay, next bache it has two flagella because it's a dinoflagellate. So of course it has a two flagella. One lies longitudinally. See, one lies longitudinally and one lies transversely. Okay, one lies bache, see, one lies transversely and one lies longitudinally. So that's why it has a two flagella. So there are grooves, and in the grooves one lies transversely and one lies longitudinally. Clear everyone? Then bache, yes, of course. Okay, next we have they multiply rapidly and toxins are released by such large amount it can kill another marine animals and fishes also. So sometimes they also release some toxins which can be harmful for some fishes also. So now bache we have one more important, very important example which is given in your NCERT is goniolax. Goniolax is the dinoflagellate bache. It contains a reddish brown pigment. What it contains bache? It contains a reddish brown pigment and it is responsible for occasional red tides. Very, very important. It is responsible for the red tides. Am I clear? Yes, Satyendra, yes. Yes, bache, you have to be little bit, you have to be little bit faster. Okay, and because we are doing the revision series. Yes, of course. Okay, very good. So now what do we got from the dinoflagellate? The dinoflagellate bache, the very important thing that it has two flagella, one on the transverse groove, one on the longitudinal one. Then what we have they multiply rapidly and release toxins which can be toxic for some fishes. And not only that, bache, dinoflagellates are not always yellow greenish in color, it can be red color also, and of course the example of red color which produces the red tide, it is your goniolax. Clear everyone? It has a reddish brown pigment and due to which it will give a red tide effect to the sea. Am I clear? Okay. Next we have euglenoids. Next what we have euglenoids bache. Okay, euglenoids bache, they are the connecting link between the plant and the animal. Why bache? Why are they connecting link bache? Because of course when the light is present, the euglena will undergo photosynthesis. It is a photosynthetic organism, but if in the absence of light, it is going to behave like an animal. That means it will be a heterotrophic organism. So euglena is a connecting link between plant and animal. So the mode of nutrition will be both autotrophic and heterotrophic. That is called as mixotrophic mode of nutrition. Very, very important. Okay, and next bache, euglena has two flagella. When you see the diagram, only one flagella is visible because another one is highly reduced. So it has two flagella, one long and one short. Okay, mainly it is present in the fresh water and it is also found fresh water but stagnant one. The water which is not moving is called as the stagnant one. Okay, so habitat bache mainly fresh water and it is found in the stagnant one. Okay, euglena has a layer, a protein rich layer outside its body which is called as pellicle, which makes their body flexible. Okay, it's a connecting link between plants and animals, very important. Next bache, basically the cell wall, it lacks the cell wall, and instead of cell wall there is a protein rich layer called as pellicle which will provide the euglena the flexibility. Next bache, mode of nutrition, it is basically autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. In the presence of light it is autotrophic, in the absence of light it is heterotrophic. Example, euglena, which is a connecting link between plant and animals, and hence euglenoid is done. Okay, done and dusted. Next up we have the slime molds. Very easy, very small topic of the slime molds. Okay, so slime molds are the one which behave as a consumer or a decomposer. Okay, slime molds are the decomposers which generally feed on the dead and decaying organisms. Clear everyone? So bache, characteristics, they are basically found on the decaying vegetation, common on lawns and moist fields. Clear everyone? Next we have mode of nutrition is saprotrophic. Mode of nutrition is saprotrophic. That means it can feed on dead and decaying twigs and leaves or organisms. Next we have bache, in the favorable condition it will form a plasmodium like structure and aggregate. Okay, in a favorable condition it will form a plasmodium like structure, but in unfavorable condition bache, the plasmodium will differentiate and form the fruiting bodies which are called as spores. The fruiting body will bear the spores at their tips. Am I clear what I said? See bache, in the favorable condition it will form a aggregation which is called as plasmodium, but under unfavorable condition it will basically, what it will do? It will basically differentiate and form what? The fruiting bodies, and fruiting bodies will bear the spore on their tips. As you can see here, very beautiful picture is given to you here, which is a slime mold which is forming the spore. So under unfavorable condition bache, it will form the spore at their tips. Am I clear? So this is all about the slime molds, nothing else, nothing more than this. Am I clear? Yes, all of you. Next up we have the protozoans, the last topic of today. Okay, then we are going to wind up the session. So the protozoans, very easy, very simple. Okay, the last one is the protozoan. Characteristic of the protozoans are they are unicellular. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. Clear? They are mostly heterotroph. As you say that they are mostly heterotroph. All protozoans are heterotroph and live as predator or parasites. Okay, so basically all of them are heterotrophs and they live as a predator. They basically feed on someone, or they are either parasite. That means they are dependent on the living host. Clear everyone? Okay, so we are going to divide the protozoans into four main parts. Okay, the four main parts. The first one is your amoeboid protozoan. The next one is your flagellated protozoan. The third one is your ciliated protozoan, and the last one is your sporozoan. Okay, so in the amoeboid protozoan, you all know the example of amoeboid protozoan is it's a very common example, that is amoeba. Okay, or you can also say amoeba and antamoeba. Okay, so you all know amoeba has pseudopodia for the movement. Pseudopodia is what? Yes, pseudopodia is what bache? Pseudopodia is the false feet. Beta, plasmodium is nothing but it is just an aggregation. Many slime molds come together and forms an aggregation which is called as plasmodium. They spread onto the surface. Clear, Satyendra? Okay. Yes. So now what is amoeboid protozoan? Back to the amoeboid protozoan. Bache, you all know that amoeba has pseudopodia, that is your false feet. Okay, and generally bache, marine amoeboids, the amoeboids or the amoeba which lives in the marine habitats, they have silica shells. And next bache, some of the amoeboids are the parasites also. Okay, so what I told you about the amoeboid protozoan, some are bache, they move with the help of pseudopodia, that is their false feet. And if the amoeboid is marine, it will have silica shells. Next bache, some amoeboid can be parasitic also. For example, now the example you all know, it's a very common example, amoeba and the antamoeba. Next we have flagellated protozoans. Flagellated protozoans, that means they will 100% contain the flagella. For example, trypanosoma, which causes the sleeping sickness. Okay, first of all, they have for locomotion, they have the flagella. Next, bache, they are free living as well as parasitic. Of course, I have already told you the mode of nutrition. And for example, trypanosoma, which is basically causing the sleeping sickness. Am I clear? Next, we have the ciliated protozoan. Now, you all know by the mean of cilia, that means the movement, the locomotion organ is cilia. Okay, it has cilia all over the body. For example, paramecium, very, very important. So, you can see the diagram of paramecium. It has all over the body, it has the cilia. And when the cilia will do the beating movement, the paramecium will move. Okay, so the mode of locomotion or the locomotory organ is your cilia. Okay, which is present all over their body. Clear everyone? And what basically they have a cavity. Okay, they have a cavity or gullet that opens outside. Clear everyone? Everyone clear? Next up we have what? The sporozoans. Sporozoans have the infection spore-like stage in their life cycle. For example, Plasmodium, which causes malaria. That's all. That's all for the protozoan. That's all you have to learn. Okay, so amoeboid protozoan, basically it has the pseudopodia, it have the marine one, has the silica shell. They can be parasite also. Next we have the flagellated one. They have the flagella for locomotion. The mode of nutrition is parasitic as well as free living, and of course the trypanosoma, which causes the sleeping sickness, is the example. Next we have the ciliated protozoan. It has cilia all over the body, and also it has the gullet that opens outside the body. For example, what? For example, Paramecium. Next up we have the sporozoans. The example of sporozoans, that it is Plasmodium, which causes the malaria. Clear everyone? So this is all about today's lecture. We have completed the lecture beautifully. What all we have done today? We have done the kingdom Monera. We have done the kingdom Protista. So this is all about today. We are going to start the next kingdom, that is your kingdom fungi and virus, viroids and prions in the next class, and hence then we are completed with the chapter. The revision of biological classification will be completed. Okay, so this is all for today. This is Avneet Kaur Khanduja signing off. Thank you so much. Thank you all of you.